Okay, in this video I'm going to go through still people talking. In this video I'm going to go through this Cambridge test which we gave you. I would also like to, in the second half of the lesson, go through the extended response questions, and I'm going to show you how I would use a CAS calculator. If the perimeter of this shape is 34.9, then I could actually do I could actually perhaps just solve that in my calculator. I'm going to show you how to do that. Okay, now if I bring that up, no, where's the CAS calculator? Okay, now I might have to do it this way. I might have to do the old Alt-Tab business. Okay, now I'm going to go to menu 3.1 because that's a trick for solve, isn't it? Did I tell you that before? Yeah. Menu 3.1, and I'm going to solve, an equation, and I'm going to, so I don't have to continually refer back to my thingy-majingy, okay? I'm going to solve, my equation is what? Isn't it 5.6 plus 8 plus x plus 10.8 is equal to what? 34.9, I heard you say, comma x, 10.5. Yeah. Answer is 10.5. All right, the circumference of a circle with a radius of 3 millimetres is equal to... Now, of course, we don't need to worry too much about this, but the circumference of a circle with a radius of 3 centimetres. Now, the circumference is equal to pi d, which is equal to 2 pi r. Don't get mixed up with the circumference in the area. Okay? Now, 2 pi r. I'm going to say that 2 pi r is 6 pi millimetres. Do you agree with that? Now, I'm going to do that inside my head. 6 times 3.14159, I know that that's going to eliminate that crap, that crap, that crap, that crap. That's your answer. Okay? You would use your calculator though, of course. For the rectangular prism with the dimensions as shown, the exact length of BH. Now, you've got to remember that we've got to use Pythag twice. We've got to use Pythag here to find this distance. Okay? So I've got, first of all, I've got 15 squared plus 8 squared is equal to EB squared. Now I'm going to do that inside my head because 225 plus 64 is 289. Okay, now 289, if I go ahead and do the square root of 289 in my CAS, which I'm going to do now, okay, square root of 289 is equal to 17. Now the problem is that is not the answer, is it? What it is though is that we've got a triangle which has 17, and then we have a height. What's the height, ladies and gentlemen? 6, and then I've got this. We've got to find that distance. So I'm going to do the square root of 17 squared, and that in my head does mean that you have to. Okay? Now, 3 times 17 is 51. Okay, 17 times 20 is 340. 51 subtract away from 340. What's that? 289. What's the square root of 289?
17.
Okay, now be careful though. Okay, so what's the answer? What's the answer to BH? 5 root 13. Okay, 5 root 13. Yeah, that sounds right to me. Good. 42 centimetres squared is equivalent to, think about this as squared, all right? If I've got a centimetre squared, okay, centimetre squared, like centimetre squared in other words, all right, if I've got squared, all right, then let's just do this. Let's do how many centimetres in a metre? 100. So So a metre squared is equal to 100 centimetres times 100 centimetres. Would you agree with that? Now 100 centimetres times 100 centimetres is 10,000 centimetres squared. Okay, now basically what we're saying is that 10,000 centimetres squared is 1 metre squared. So what about if so I've got to divide metres squared by 10,000 to get 1 centimetre squared. So I've got 42 of those. So 42 over 10,000 metres squared. So which one is that? What is? Let's have a look. 42 over 10,000. What does that give me? Is A the right answer? No, it's not. Is D the right answer? No, it's not. Okay. How the hell could 4.2 metres squared equal 42 centimetres squared? I'm sorry. That's just ruling that out. So what do you think? Which one of these is it? Let's do.
Fraction many is less than 1.
So, now look at this. How many zeros have I got? 4. Let's do this. 42. 1, 2, 3, 4. I reckon, if you ask me, the answer's E. Do you agree?
Yeah.
Well done. Okay, the area of the given sector of this. Now, be careful. A lot of you see this 210 degrees and you go, oh, I'm going to use 1,010. But guess what? How many degrees are left? 150. Now 150 as a fraction out of 360 is what we want. 150 as a fraction out of 360. What's a number? So 10 goes into both of those. So maybe 15 over 36. And can we do anything more? Maybe doesn't 3? It's 3. So that's 5 over 12. Would you agree? Are we okay with that? So 5 over 12 times the area of, now, isn't it pi r squared? Pi times 7 squared. Do you agree with that? Now, that's 49. 49 times 5 is what? 245. 245 over 12. 245 over 12 pi. And I'm just going to rule this out. 245 over 12, how many times? Let's just say that's, say, around about 20 pi. 20 pi. Okay, now 20 pi is around about the 60 mark.
64.
Bong, a bong, a bong, a bong. Is that the right answer?
Yes.
Yes, okay. Now, I'm not asking you to not use your calculator, but I'm not using a calculator. But I will use a calculator when I need to. If the area of this shape is 49 kilometres squared, the value of h is closest to what shape is this? It's a trapezium. And what's the area of a trapezium? A half A plus B times the height. Now I'm going to do this in my head. Shh. It doesn't matter what A and B are, as long as A and B are these two things. 12.5 plus 4.7 is 17.2. 17.2, a half of that is 8.6. Okay, so that's going to be 8.6 times the height. Now 8.6 times the height is equal to what? 49. Now guess what? You could work that out, but I could go 8.6. Oh, look at this. Look at this. Menu 3-1. And I can go what is it? 6 times h. Okay, for those of you whose algebra are not so great, comma, what are we doing? H. Look at that, 5.697 or whatever it is. It's closest to what? 5.7. Hello. The exact area of the curved surface of a cone. Now, curved surface of a cone. Okay, with a radius of 2 centimetres and a slant height of this. The exact area. Is this total surface area? What's the curved surface of a cone? What is it? Okay, good. Pi r,
Slant.
which is what? L or
S.
pi r s. Okay, so therefore it's pi. What's the radius? Is 2. What's the slant? 8. Isn't that 16 pi? Do you agree that it's 16 pi? Awesome. Well done. What about the volume of the volume? Now the thing is that, shh, Terry, can you wake up? Thanks, mate. Wake up. Hey, Terry. All right. Now, volume is equal to what? Area times height. Now, be careful because this is only when you've got a consistent thing. This cone, if I really didn't like you, I would give you this piece of pie at the bottom because or if I thought that you needed to lose weight, I'd give you this pie, wouldn't I? Okay? And then the person I thought needed to gain weight, Jamil, okay, I'd give you this piece of pie because it's really big. Does it make sense? So you can't use volume equals area times height. But what you can say is that the area of this is 20, the consistent cross-sectional area. If I cut it in this direction, everyone's going to get an even slice. So area times height, 25 times 5 is 125 what? Meters what? Cubed. Beautiful. Exact volume of this cylinder. What's the exact volume? Isn't it? Now, this is a slanted thingy-majingy. Don't we need to know if this is 6 and this is 3, what do you need to know? Do you need to know maybe that? No? I think you need to know, if you need the area of the circle, you need to know this height here. Would you agree? Okay. I think it is. Yeah. I'll explain why. Shh. Okay. Just one sec. Shh. 3 squared plus 6 squared is what? 45. Okay. So what is this? What is the height of this slanted cylinder? What's that?
6 and 6.
6 squared plus 6. Isn't it root 45? It is. The height is 6. Yeah, but the height's 6, but it's the height of the cylinder. It's on a slant, ladies and gentlemen. You need to think about these things. Shh. So using Pythag, I've found that the distance or the height of the cylinder is root 45. So the volume is equal to pi r squared h. That height is in this case the slanted height. 3 squared, too many noises. Root. Oh, I don't care where it is in your book. We're going through this and we're going through some tough questions. Okay, 3 squared is what? 9. Okay, now I've got pi times 9 times... Now, what can I simplify that surd to? Think about a perfect square, a number which... 9 times 5 is 45, yes? What's the square root of 9? 3 comes out the front. 27 pi root 5. Now, the exact volume of the oblique cylinder.
Shouldn't it be 6 and 6? Because you're going all the way across, not just
Aha! Very good. Well done. So what have we done? This is 6. And if that's 6, what's this? 6 squared plus 6 squared? Isn't it 72? Isn't that 6 root 2? Is that right? 36 times 2? That's 6 root... one sec. Shh. 6 root 2. Let's change this to 6 root 2. Now, 54 root 2. All right, is that an option? Can someone explain to me, Frank, have you done this? What's the answer? Yeah. Aha! Yes. Now the thing is though, is that this, as long as this here is 6, this is a right, if this, this is a right angle, and this is an oblique cylinder, then that means that we've gone a bit too far here, haven't we? But it's not, so 9 times 6 is 54 pi. Is that what you got from? Yes, okay. But can I just verify that this is on a slope. It's the height of that slope. It's not the height of the cylinder. Okay? Generally speaking though, you get a cylinder. It's the pi r squared is the consistent area times the height, isn't it? All right? That was that can confuse you. Yes. All right, short answer. Let's keep going. Shh. A sector has a radius r and an internal angle of theta. Write a rule for the perimeter. Now, be careful. The perimeter, we know, is we need to know the arc length here. And first of all, we need to know that the perimeter, if you don't get the right formula, then you're going to be really struggling, aren't you? What's the formula for a perimeter of a circle? 2 pi r. So it's 2 pi r. And what about, however, in this case, remember that that's only going to give us that. It says here, write a rule for the perimeter of the sector. Now the sector, also we need to add what? Don't we need to add r here? And r here. Good. So the perimeter is equal to, now be careful, it's how many degrees in a circle? Theta over 360 times what? Times 2 pi r. What am I missing out on? Plus 2r. Thank you. Now I'm going to do something. I'm going to have 2 pi r theta over 360 plus 2r. I'm going to simplify that. You okay with that? Find the perimeter of a sector with a radius of 3 and an interior angle of 50 degrees. So, aha! I'm then going to put that in my calculator. But I'm going to do it in my head. Stuff it. All right? Perimeter is equal to 2 pi times r, which is 3 what? 3 bananas? 3... Well, we'll just have to deal with that. Times 50 over 360 plus 2 times r, which is plus 6. Are you okay with that? Now that's 150 times 2 is 300 pi over 360 plus 6. Isn't that like, how many times does 60 go into 300? 5? So isn't that the same as 5 pi on 6 plus 6? But it's, you read the question. And the question says, correct to 2 dp's. What's the answer? Did you guess that or? What's the answer? Come on. You telling me I have to physically work this out myself? All right, I will then. Okay. Control, look at this. Control, 5, 5 pi on 6 plus 6, isn't it? All right, now I go control enter, 8.617. Now it's correct to 2 decimal places. Now that means I have to look at the 3rd decimal place. Okay, I have to look at the 3rd decimal place. Is that above 5?
Yes.
So what's the answer? 8.62 is correct. Well done. Making sense? Now it says write a rule for the interior angle theta of a sector in terms of the radius and the perimeter. What do we do there? Callum, you look like you've got such a blank face. You look like you've just seen a ghost. Well, guess what? Some of these questions you do need to think through them, and it will appear as though you've seen a ghost. But as you do them more, you will get better at them. Write a rule for the interior angle in terms of the radius and the perimeter. All right, I think we're going to have to rearrange this formula over here. Hang on a minute. Haven't we got the perimeter and all of that jazz? Oh my God, I'm going to show you something in the calculator. Have a look at this. Now, perimeter is equal to 2 pi r theta over 360 plus 2r. Now, I'm going to just change theta and call that x, and I'm going to call r y. Are you okay with that? Okay, I'm going to show you something. Now, first of all, what I'm going to do is I'm going to maybe not that far. Okay, but what I am going to do is I'm going to minimise this. Minimise it. Jesus. Okay, now. All right, now what was my formula for perimeter? I'm gonna go menu solve, but what are we solving for? We're solving for what? Is it theta? Okay, good. Menu 3, 1 solve, and we're solving for p. Well, let's just go little p is equal to what?
2r plus 2 pi.
2r. Now I'm going to just call that y for the time being. So r's y plus
2 pi.
Plus, is it in a bracket? Do I need to do this thing? 2
No. Oh yeah, 2 pi.
2
Oh,
pi.
no, it's 2 pi times theta over 360. So you do
2 pi. Well, hey, look at this pi button. 2 pi theta
Oh, what the hell?
over, was it 360?
Yeah.
I'm going to change this y over here to an r like it should be. But what do we want? Don't we want a formula
For theta.
for theta, yeah? Let's have a look. Now, if I do, what am I do? If I do comma what? We want it. Let's try. Let's see what the old calculator does. You should be trying this in your calculator, by the way, rather than just... Oh, my God. Oh, my God. That's it. That's a tough question, isn't it? And you know what? You're probably going to struggle with it if you're doing it. So I've got theta is equal to negative... Now, you know what? I'm going to do this. I'm going to take that negative and I'm going to say I'm going to put that inside there. So I'm going to say it's p minus 2r, 180 over pi. Now, it's on the video, so if you want to watch it again, watch it again. I'm not going to explain it again. So we've got theta is equal to, what did I say?
180.
Well, now the minus 180, I'm going to make it a positive, and rather than so I'm going to do p minus 2r over what's on the bottom. Come on, over pi. Does that make sense? That's a tough question. But you could have done that with the algebra that you've been taught. But do you see how the CAS calculator can really help you? Good.
You have to put it
Yeah, mate. Now this is tough. This is tough. All right. Find the interior angle of a sector with a radius 4 and perimeter of exactly 8 plus pi. Now, find the interior. So haven't we just done that question there? So
substitute.
theta is equal to 180, and I'm not going to use a calculator, perimeter of 8 plus 6 pi. 8 plus 6 pi, and then minus 2r. Oh, look at that. Isn't that 2 times 4? Isn't that like 8 minus 8, 0? Yeah? Now, 8 minus 8, 0. 6 pi times, 180 times 6, and then I've got so that's actually 180 times 6 pi over pi. Are you following me? What happens when I multiply two things and they've got a pi on the top and a pi on the bottom? They cancel out. Good. What's 180 times 6? Now I'm going to do this in my head, and this is what you should be doing. What's 6 times 100? What's 6 times 80?
1,080.
Good. 1,080 is the answer. Now, I'm going to do this because I'm 1,080 what? Do we have any units?
No.
Oh, no, degrees.
No, degrees. Now I'm going to do 1,080, okay? You ready? 360, 720, 1,080. You know when they're on the snowboarders and they're really high and they do 1,080s and 720s and stuff? I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. I'll do a 360. That's about all I'll do. Okay? All right. Now, whew, you ready? Let's keep going because I think we're doing really good. Area of the basic. Oh, come on. This is a triangle. Gee, the area of a triangle. This is remedial maths.
1/2 times base.
Half times base times height. Be careful. Make sure you're given the height, please. Have we been given the height?
Yes.
Yes, which is a half times 11 times 5, which is
5 centimeters squared.
27.5
Centimeters squared.
centimetres squared. Brilliant. All right, what about this one over here, ladies and gentlemen? What is this? It's a parallelogram, but is it just base times height? Okay, now, which is equal to 9.7 times 3.4, which is equal to 32.98
meters squared.
metres squared. Well done. What about, oh, come on, root 2 times root 6 is equal to root 12, which is equal to 4 times 3 inside here. Shh. It's not 2 root 6. It's 2 root 3. And you know what? It says rounding. You leave it in exact values. 2 root 3 what? Bananas? Kilometres squared. Okay, I'm going to zoom in a little bit more. We're going to go do D. What's this shape here? It's a kite. One day we should all go out and fly some kites. It'd be great. All right, but what's the formula for the area of a kite? It's also a rhombus. Well done. It's a rhombus, and be careful when you spell rhombus because that's how you spell rhombus.
Can we get multiplied?
No, it's all good. What's the area? What's the formula? Half
Times x times y.
xy, yeah? Have we been given xy though? Yes? Now, shh, listen up, guys. Listen up. What's 3 times 18? 54. Add a 0.
You just said add a 0 from
54. Because it's 10. It's not 3 times 18. What's half of 540? 270. All right. Is that what you got, ladies and gentlemen? 270 millimeters squared. We don't need to use calculators all the time. All right. Now, are we finding areas, ladies and gentlemen? Be careful because don't go ahead. It says here, find the area. Yes? Okay. Sorry, I'm getting a bit carried away. All right. The area is equal to, now this is a third of a circle, but you don't need to realise that yet. Noxie, sit quietly. 120 over 360 times pi r squared. Don't go start finding the perimeter. That's what a lot of students do. Okay, that's a third of a circle, pi r squared, and the circle, it has a radius. Be careful. Sometimes they give you diameters and stuff. You got to know these things. R squared, 4 squared, 16. Yes. So it's 16 pi on 3 meters squared. If you left it like that, I'd be perfectly fine. Okay, because you've shown me that you're leaving it in exact values, even if it says corrected 2 decimal places. However, when you get in VCE, if you're not told, exact values. If you're told corrected 2 decimal places, or 3, or sometimes 6, then you do exactly what the question asked you to do. All right, and this time, this is what a lot of students do. They go, area equals pi r squared is equal to pi times 7.5 squared is equal to whatever. Is that right? No. It is equal to pi times the half of that, which is 3.75 squared, which of course that one would do what you do in your calculator. Now you know what? I'm going to do something really tricky here. I'm going to say that I'm going to say that 7.5. Would you agree that 7.5 is equal to 15 over 2? Okay, so if I halve that, would you agree that half the radius is equal to 15 over 4? Would you agree with that? So I'm going to say that that's pi times 15 over 4 squared, all squared by the way, which is equal to 225 over 16 pi. And if you left it like that, I'd be very happy. But of course, if you did it in your calculator, equally as happy. Okay, because unless it has it said here that you need to show exact values? No, it has not. Okay, now we continue. Find the total surface area and volume. Be careful. And the volume of these solids, rounding to 2 decimal places where necessary. If you leave it in exact values, I'll be happy this year. But once again, if it says rounding to 2 decimals. So, I'll show you how I set these up. First of all, I know with this rectangular prism that there's going to be 6 sides. So what I do is I put a 1 here and a 1 there. And I put a 2 here and a 2 there. And I put like a 3 here, which is like the top and the bottom. Okay? Now, basically what I say is that the total surface area... Now, total surface area is here is equal to, I'm going to say it's 2 times 1 plus 2 times 2 plus 2 times 3. And that way I made sure that I've accounted for everything. Now I can just write here, now 2 times 1, 8 times 4. Okay, so I can do brackets, 2 times 8 times 4 plus 2 times, now area 2 is 10 times what? 4? And then 2 times 3. 3 is the bottom, so it's 8 times 10. 2 times 8 times 10. Now I'm going to do it in my head only because you got a calculator, you can do it. But I've got 32 times 2 is 64. That's 64 plus 80 plus 160. And I'm going to say that that's 240, 304, what? Centimetres squared. Is that what you got?
Yeah.
Good. Okay, let's find the volume. The volume's easy for a rectangular prism. Volume equals area times height, which is the length times width, if you like, of any rectangle. And because that you could cut these pieces of pies any way you like. You can cut it that way. You can cut it that way. Doesn't matter. But the area, it's 8 times 10 times 4. What?
320.
How many dimensions?
Cube.
Cubes. Thank you. All right. Now, what about this one? What about this one? We've got a triangular prism. Okay? And we've got to find the total surface area. Have we been given the height of each triangle though?
Yeah.
We have. Just wait a sec. I'm just going to pause this. Are you guys okay?
Me.
Yeah, we all good? You cough. Okay. Would you like a tissue?
No, alright.
Okay. All right. Now the thing is, if you get a question like this, the hardest part is generally when you've got to use Pythag to find the height. But have we been given the height of the triangles? So, how many triangles are there though?
4.
There's 4 triangles? Good. So the total surface area is equal to 4 triangles, which is 4 times a half. Noxie, sit over there.
Or you could just do 2 squares.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Stay there. You're on notice. 4 times. What's the base of each triangle? 6. What's the height of each triangle? 5. Okay. And what is the base? Is it square? Is it Is it a square-based square-based pyramid? Yes, it is. So we've got to add 6 by 6, don't we? Now I'm going to do that, and I'm going to say that half of 4 is 2, 12, 60, 60 plus... did you get 96?
Yeah.
The answer is 96 metres squared. Maybe you didn't take into account the square base because it's asking for the total surface area. What's the formula for the volume though? What's the formula for the volume? Someone tell me. Shout it out. I don't care.
1/3 times
1/3
times 6
times
4.
pi. Is it no?
Times 5 times
Ti-
x or
Times what?
times x.
X times height. What's x?
Yeah,
X squared. Thank you. All right. Now what that is, this x squared is the, I guess, the base. Shh. That's like length times width. Doesn't have to be. Shh. Now, what we've got, what is x though? Shh. What's x? 6. 6 squared is 36, yeah? 36 divided by 3 is 12. What's the height? Be careful. What's the height? 12 times what? Isn't it 4?
Yep.
So the answer is 48
Meters cubed.
metres cubed. Thank you. All right. Now, total surface area. Now, these are more plugging numbers into formulas, but I'm going to tell you, as I discussed with you, that the curved surface, if I had a sheet of paper and I folded it around, the circumference of the circle becomes like, it's like the length here, okay? This distance here, which is like the length of the rectangle, becomes like the circumference of a circle, which is equal to 2 pi r. Would you agree? Remember how I got the poster and we folded it around? Okay, and then like this is like the width. Okay? So the curved surface, the area of the curved surface is 2 pi r times, well, we call it height, don't we? Yeah, 2 pi r height. And then there's two circles. So it's the total surface area is 2 pi r squared plus 2 pi r h, which is equal to what? 2 pi r squared, 2 times pi times, what's the radius? 1.9 squared plus 2 pi r squared, good, plus 2 times pi times 1.9 times 5.7, yeah? Now you've got to do that in your calculator. Can someone tell me what that is around the two decimal places?
9.73 millimeters squared.
What is it?
90.73.
90.
0.73.
Do we agree with that?
Yeah.
Equals, well done, Jamil. 90.73 millimetres squared. Well done. Okay, now what about the total surface areas? The harder one, the volume is pi r squared, which is my area, times my height. Pi r squared, I'm just going to do that. Pi times 1.9 squared times 5.7. What's the answer, ladies and gentlemen?
64.64.
64.64 millimetres cubed. All right, now, do you want a small break? Okay, I'm going to pause this video in a second. Shh, go. Now, we're considering this shape and it says use Pythag to find the value of x. Now, the value of x, what does this indicate though? What does this indicate? They're the same. Now, using Pythag. Now, if we're splitting this in two, what we can say is we've got this, and I'm splitting it in half. And because of that means that this angle and this angle should be the same. And if this angle and this angle are the same, well,
You need to worry about that.
we don't need to really worry about angles, but I'm going to say that if I cut that in half,
6.7.
2.1, and then I've got this which is x, and we've got this which is 6.7. Yes. So there, what we're going to say is, therefore, I'm going to imply that x is equal to the square root of 2.1 squared plus 6.7 squared. Correct to one decimal place. Answer is
7.8, I'm pretty sure.
correct to one decimal place. What's the answer? 7.0?
Yeah, I said that.
Thank you.
Seriously? I got that from
Well done. Hence, calculate the perimeter of the shape correct to whatever. Now, so therefore the perimeter is x is equal to 7 plus 7 plus... Now we want a perimeter of half a circle. What's the perimeter of half a circle? A half times 2 pi times r,
2.1.
2.1. Thank you.
I didn't get the answer.
Which is equal to 14 plus, now I've got a half of 2 pi as pi, pi times 2.1 pi. Now it's saying correct to one decimal place. So what's the answer? 20.6
I got that.
centimetres. Now it says find the area of the shape correct to 2 decimal places. Well, that's the area of our triangle, which is a half base times height. Just one sec, stay there. A half base times height, 4.2 times the height. What's the height? 6, what is it? 6.7 plus, what is it? Plus a half a circle, isn't it? But be careful, it's a half pi r squared, which is times 2.1 squared. What's the area of that? What's the answer? And then you can go. 41.78 bananas centimetres what? Squared. Now I didn't finish it off, but do you guys feel okay? All right, well done today. Thank you, and have a great weekend because I'll be back on Monday. No, but I will mark it.